Hello and welcome to another show and tell video from RC Empire. In this video we're going to be looking at something very cool and something that is a fundamental part in the evolution of electric RC models and another stage in the history of speed controllers. In this video we'll be looking at a very old vintage mechanical speed controller that I picked up for use with our next project. From the sale, included with our speed controller, we should also be getting two motors, so we have our NIMH battery here, and hopefully we'll be able to see this speed controller in action. If we open up this hard case box, we can see that we have two motors and a speed controller packaged up in this plastic wrapping. It would have been nice to see a bit of bubble wrap in there, but everything in there seems secure. So firstly, let's take a look at this spare motor. As you can just about see, it says Fullthrottle Motorsports, and it looks like it's had some good use throughout its life. It's actually got a website as well written on the bottom of the label, which you can just about see, www.teamfullthrottle.net, which doesn't seem to exist anymore, and I haven't really been able to find much information on these guys. On the top here, it says Epic 27 Japan. So I assume it's a 27 turn motor, and it seems to be just a stock 27 turn motor manufactured and sent out without a sticker to be rebranded by Fullthrottle Motorsports and other companies. On the back here you can see a little circuit board, and in the middle it says Epic Japan on it, and on the back you've got your copper contacts and terminals where you can see a speed controller or something has previously been soldered on. It also doesn't seem like it's adjustable in any way, and that is pretty much it. Moving on to the second motor, which you can see has been soldered directly onto our speed controller. This is a much more common standard Johnson 27 turn motor. Now, finally, let's get on to the speed controller. You may remember that in our last episode, we featured an old Tamiya speed controller. It was slightly different in the sense that the contacts and terminals on the circuit board were different, but also the actual shape of the insulator with the coiled wires was different. Now, this speed controller actually seems to have come from a Kyosho, and the only models I've been able to find with this is an old Kyosho Chevy from the mid 1980s, so around 1985, and also a Porsche 936 from around 1986. As you can see, the speed controller is made up of two parts: the black circuit board, which has the contacts and wires coming off it, and this big grey flat part. And basically this whole system acts as a big circuit with a variable resistance in it which controls the speed of the motor. On one side of the board you have a number of wires with the power cable, the motor, and the cable for the receiver, and on the other side we have this little dial which is normally connected to a servo arm. As the servo moves, it will rotate the dial, which pivots about the center point on this screw. As the arm of the dial moves and touches one of the contacts on the circuit board, it will close the circuit, sending power to the motor and driving the car that you're using this with. As we mentioned in the first video, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the old standard 3 or 5 step Tamiya speed controllers, where each contact, either forward or reverse, offered a fixed level of resistance in the circuit, and therefore, depending on which contact the arm was touching, the motor would run faster or slower, and these had 2 or 4 stages of resistance and a neutral position. With this, however, the resistance in the circuit is determined by the position of the dial arm along the coiled wire, and this we have here is known as a Rheostat Resistor. As one side of the dial makes contact with the terminal on the circuit board, this will determine the polarity of the motor, so whether the motor will run forward or reverse. At the same time, as the opposite side of the arm on the dial slides along the coil, the amount of wire in the circuit is increasing or decreasing, and so the amount of resistance in the circuit is increasing or decreasing, and the motor will run slower or faster. Now this gives you a very wide range of variability in the speed you can run your motor, as opposed to the older Tamiya speed controllers which had only 1 or 2 speeds forward or reverse. And the difference in shape between this and the last one we looked at comes from the shape of the grey part, or the insulator. You can actually see this time, because it's not fully painted over, that this insulating core is made of ceramic, and so it acts as an insulator of heat generated by the resistance in the coiled wire, but also it acts as a rigid holder to hold the coils in place as the arm slides along them. But as you can just about see, the heat resistant material painted over the coils is beginning to crack and flake off. So let's get into a little testing. Thanks to the fact that we already have the correct modern Tamiya connector on this speed controller, and we also have a motor soldered straight onto it, we can actually see this in action and hopefully get the motor to move at variable speeds according to the position of the arm and the resistance in the circuit. So if we take our battery and plug it in, you can see there, as soon as the dial makes contact with the points on the circuit board, it completes the circuit and the motor starts moving. One thing I didn't mention is that the circuit ends at the ends of the insulator, meaning that when the arm is in the middle of the coil, there is a lot of wire in the circuit, and so there is a lot of resistance in the circuit, and the motor will start off moving slow. As the arm moves towards the outer edges of the insulator, there is less coiled wire in the circuit, and so there is less resistance, and the motor will spin faster, as you can see in action here. And actually, the coil doesn't get as hot as I thought it would be. And that is pretty much it. It works on a really basic principle, and considering there were no electronic speed controllers back then, this was a very effective way of giving you a variable speed when driving. Now quickly, before we finish off, in case some of you wanted to know, this is the Tamiya speed controller that we looked at last time from the early 1980s. As you can see, they both have JMR stamped on them, and I think this stands for Japan Resistor Manufacturer, which is a manufacturing company who make and sell all sorts of resistors and circuit boards. You can see that they both have an insulating core, and they both have this grey insulator paint on the bottom side of the coil. And as mentioned, they are both Rheostat Type Resistors and work very much on the same principle. Finally, in terms of their size, they are near enough identical at 55mm long and 50mm wide. Now one thing to note is that I think the wire diameter on both of these is the same, but because of the shape of the insulator, there may be more wire on the Kyosho coil, and therefore there is more potential for there to be more resistance in the circuit, and so with the same battery and everything else being equal, the Kyosho speed controller should allow for the motor to run slower because there is more wire in that circuit. But maybe this is not the case. When we get around to wiring up the Tamiya one, we can see what the lowest and highest RPM of the motor is from each of these speed controllers, and that will be very interesting to see and to compare. But for now, that's it from this video. If you want to check out the full video of the Tamiya speed controller, I'll link it below. I hope you've enjoyed this and maybe seen and learned a few new things. Please rate and subscribe and let us know if there's anything else you would like to see. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.